Hello everyone, it's Carrie at Inky Bee Journals and Ephemera. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time visiting my channel, hello and welcome to you. Thank you to everybody for choosing to spend a portion of your day with me. I really do appreciate it. So before I get into today's video, I just want to let you know that if you can hear a whirring sound in the background of this video, I do apologise. That will be my air conditioner that you can hear. It's quite cold here in Australia at the moment, and I need to have the air conditioner going to keep me warm, and it's in quite close proximity to my table, so I hope it's not too distracting for you. Okay, so today I thought we would look at making some little circle paper charms, or dangles if that's what you'd like to call them. And they're really quite small. These are only 1 inch in size. Of course, you could make them smaller if you'd like to. You could make them bigger if you'd like to, but I think this is a nice little size. So we're going to make these today, and I will make 3 of them, because as I've mentioned on the channel before, I do believe that with repetition we begin to get the hang of how things are made, and that can help us learn. So we'll do 3 of those, and now I will put these in the in 2 different playlists. The first one will be under the playlist Ephemera Ideas, and the second playlist I will put them in is in the Scrapbuster Ideas, because this is a great way to use up some of those leftover bits and pieces in your paper, or even little cut-out pieces like this. You could even use stickers if you wanted to, and you can turn these into a mass make idea as well. So without further ado, let's get started. So you will need, I'll just move these over to one side. So you will need some type of card. Now I'm using cereal box card, and I'm just cutting out with my 1 inch punch. I've just cut out some circles from that, and you will need 2 circles per charm. So I have those. Now if you don't have a 1 inch circle punch, you can use a smaller one or a larger one, but if you don't have a punch at all, you can find something else. Like this is the lid of a glue bottle, that you could use something like that. Anything round would work that you can trace around, and if you don't have that, you might have a stencil that has some circle sizes on it, like this one, that you might be able to use. And then you can just cut them out with a pair of scissors or some type of craft knife if you have them. Now, the other things we will need is, now before I go into this, you don't actually need to have these metal jewellery pieces here. You can just opt to use some kind of a string to put through the hole, and then add it to your project. But I will be using these jump rings today, and I will also be using the little lobster clasp claws. Lobster claw clasp, sorry, having a mispronunciation there. And I will just choose 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. And I will get 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. And I will pop a link in the description box below for somewhere where you can buy these, or something similar to this little package that I have here. They can be bought at jewellery stores online, or jewellery making suppliers online. So you will need something like those, or a type of string. Now these are optional. I just have a couple of pairs of pliers here. This is usually how I open my jump rings, but you can do it by hand if you don't have these available. You will need something to punch a hole into your little circles. So I have my crocodile punch here. If you don't have that, you can use some type of paper piercer like an awl, or even a needle if that's what you have available. And you will need some decorative pieces to glue onto your cardboard pieces, and you will need some type of a glue. So I'm just going to use my art glitter glue, and I will put a link in the description box below for all of the things that I use today. And if they're not exactly the same ones, I will put a link for something fairly similar that you can substitute them with. Of course, you don't have to use the exact same things that I'm using. There are lots of options out there for glue, for paper punches, for things like hole punches. There's different brands of pliers and things like that, and jewellery making things. So there's all sorts of different things that you can choose from. So to get started, we take 2 of these little circles, and I've just used cereal weight boxes for these, and I'm just going to get my glue. I can get my pin out. I'm just going to move this aside, and all you need to do is put a bit of glue on here. The glue wants to come out. I think we have a blockage. Let's see. Let's see if this worked. Here we go. So put some glue on there, and then glue the second one down, and I suggest you try and put the 2 sides, glue the 2 sides together that have the packaging advertising on it, so that you've got the 2 blank sides on the outer side. And the only reason I suggest that is because when you put your decorative piece down, that will, I've got way too much glue here. When you put your decorative piece down on top, you will sometimes find, if you're using a thinner paper, that it may possibly show through from underneath, so you don't really want that. So you might find just having the decorative piece on the blank side will just help things to look a little bit nicer. So glue those together, and I will do all of these now because it'll give them a little bit of a chance to dry. You could use a glue stick if you wanted to, but I suggest using a good quality one if you can get one. And just glue those together. Now, if you have a thicker cardstock, a thicker cardboard than cereal weight, you don't necessarily need to have 2 pieces together. The reason I'm putting 2 pieces together is just because it gives a little bit more stability. So there's 2, and we'll do the 3rd. Try to make sure you've got the glue right up to these edges, because you don't want your cardboard pieces coming apart. And just use your finger or a rag or something like that just to neaten up those gluey edges. Okay, once we've got that, the next thing we do, I'll let these two dry for a moment. This one might be dry enough to use now. So the next thing we do is we get our coloured piece, our decorative piece here, and we can glue that down on the front like that. Now, you can leave this side blank if you want to. You can just cut out some plain. I will show you in a minute what I do with these. So I'm just going to glue this little piece down. So these have all been cut out with a 1-inch circle punch, so when we layer them together, they are all the same size. So there's one, and we'll do this one. Glue that down. There we go. And we'll do the last one. Seems I have butterflies on today's little charms, but you can put whatever you like, butterflies, flowers, bugs, just a general pattern. You can make them plain if you like. There's no rules here that say what you are and aren't allowed to put on them. That is entirely up to you. Whatever you like and whatever looks nice to you is right. So there's 3 little charms there. Now, usually I put a plain back on these, which I did not organise before, so let's just have a look at something I might be able to put on the back of these. Let me have a look. Can I get no, I think it's too small. So what else do I have here? One moment while I find a piece that I can put on the back, and I'll just cut it out of this piece of paper, this piece of scrap. There's 1. There's 2, and there's 3. So all we do is, just like we did on the front, we just glue down this piece on the back. Now the reason I tend to put a fairly plain piece on the back, this one actually does have a little bit of pattern, but it's very faint, is because you might like to write a little word on there or put a little sentiment on there might like to put a stamp on there. That's another way you can decorate these. But I actually like to put a little number on the back of them. And that's because I put these on the spine of my journals. And so you have the decorative side on one side, and when you turn it over you will see a number, and that is so that when somebody, or even myself, is looking at my journals on a bookshelf, for example, I can turn it over and look at the number, and I will know which one comes first and which one comes after. So that's just a little system that I use, but of course you can put whatever you like on the back of yours. There's no rules. They're a fairly easy beginner tutorial for a little dangle. So while those ones are drying, I will just show you that you can actually use other shapes. So I've got some more little cutout butterflies here that you can do the same thing with. Now these are already on a little bit of cardstock, so I'm not going to worry too much about cutting other shapes out with cardstock for these ones, because they've already got some strength in them. So now that we've used the glue, I'm just going to put the pin back in my glue and set that aside. And the next thing we need to look at doing is putting a little hole in the top of each little circle, so that we can put the jump ring and the little lobster claw connection into the top. So I'm going to use this today, but you can use an awl if you have one, or a needle if you've got one. Anything sharp and pointy that can give you the option of putting a tiny little hole there. Now I've just got my pen here so that I can just mark where I'm going to put my hole, and I'll do the same with these ones. And you want to put your hole probably about a 1/16 of an inch down from the edge of the cardstock, or the edge of your image, so that you're not going to tear through too easily. So now all I'm going to do is place this in my hole puncher. Now, as I said, this is a We Are Memory Keepers hole punch and eyelet setter. I am using the 1/8 inch hole setting at the top here, and I'm just going to place that in and punch. Now, it may not always be a clear punch, but we can always clean that up a little bit, just like that. You might find if your little circles are thick enough that using a crocodile like this will be a little bit easier on your hands, and I definitely find it helps because I have arthritis, and it definitely is a little bit easier on my hands. Right, so now we can put some holes through these ones as well. So I will grab my pen and think I'll dangle them on an angle, so I'll put a little hole into each through the wing area. So there's one. There's two. There's three. So I have all these tiny little pieces, but I'll move those to the side. So the next thing we do is we get a jump ring, and if you haven't seen these before, these are what I used for jewellery making, for making all sorts of types of jewellery. And these come with a tiny little cut straight through the centre. And to open these, you can either use your fingers and pull them apart, but when you pull them apart, don't pull them apart like this. Pull them apart like this. And the reason you do that is so that you don't break them. So when you can find where, and if you get your nail, you will feel it. You will feel a little ridge where that's been cut through, and you can just gently twist them apart like that. So I hope you can see that. Then you get your circle charm and you place, might have to pull it apart a little bit more, and you just place it through the hole like that, and then you can get one of your little lobster claws, and there is a tiny little jump ring on the bottom of it, and you slide that little jump ring over the big jump ring like that, and then you can get these two pieces, open pieces here, and you can bring them back towards each other until they close again. It can be a little bit hard on the eyes if you haven't got good eyes. Sometimes you may find using a good pair of magnifying glasses or even a magnifying lamp if you need one. And there is your little charm. So we'll do another one. And if you are using pliers, this is just so that you can grip each side with the pliers to pull them apart. And hook that on, and hook on your other piece, or claw, and close them together. So there's another one. We'll do one more of the round one, and then we'll do the other one, the little butterfly ones, butterfly shapes, just like that. And slide on the lobster claw, close up the jump ring again, and there you have our third one like that. Now I'll get some more jump rings out and some more lobster claws to do these ones. So there's 3 lobster claws. And 3 more jump rings. So we'll open these jump rings, just like that. Slide on one of the butterflies and slide on one of the lobster claws, and then close that jump ring up again. So there is your little butterfly dangle. You can use all kinds of shapes. You can play around with this idea and see what you can create. And as you can see, they're quick and they're easy once you've got the hang of them. Close that up again. And there's our second butterfly, and we'll do one more. And we'll close that jump ring up. Just like that. So there we have 3 circle charms and 3 little butterflies. So they're really quite easy to make. Now, if you're wondering how you can use them, as I said before, this is the journal that I'm currently working in, and this is how I have it. I have a little hole at the top of my spine here. I have a bulb clip, and then I have just clipped onto that bulb clip the lobster claw, and there is my circle charm, and on the other side is a number. Another way you could use them, I have just made a simple little bookmark here, and again I have a bulb clip. I have clipped onto the bulb clip using the lobster claw, and there is another charm there. So that's another way you can use them. But you can use them on the sides of pages. If you really wanted to, you could maybe put a little bit of chain on them and turn them into a little pendant for a necklace. Just an idea. So that's all for this tutorial today. If you liked this video, please consider giving me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell so that YouTube can send you notifications when I upload new videos. So I'll leave the video there for now, and until next time, thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely day. Please stay safe out there, and I'll see you next time. Bye.